All right, everyone, welcome to this week's edition of the Fresh Takes podcast. It may be cold outside, but the takes, and luckily the studio here at fingerlakes1.com is nice and warm. I am, of course, Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, the man, the myth, the Fresh Take legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. Paul, you're already starting off with some lies because it's effing cold in here.
It's getting warmer.
Yeah, a little heater over there definitely might not help, but
It's helping out major if you ask me.
yes, okay. That's why we have our own opinions. But it is Tuesday. November something.
27th. 2018.
2018. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
Today is the first day of our fans calling in. Did we get any fans, Paul?
We did not. And
We
in
did
fact, I'm highly disappointed in that. Guys, I even put out a tweet yesterday asking for takes, asking for questions if you had them about football. You want to all put up the topics for today because I asked about the MLB hot stove. Obviously, if you maybe have caught the preview link on FL1, you might have saw that we obviously were talking about some college football, maybe some Tiger Phil rematch. You already know we're talking about the other stuff too.
We've never talked about the NFL before.
Really? Never?
Never. This is new. But it's just another week. But it's a big week in college football.
It is. So we'll touch on that,
Finally.
obviously. And, luckily for everyone here, we're going to recap, obviously, Tiger Phil, or maybe the better way around would be Phil Tiger, based
Phil
on the outcome.
Tiger.
And then, obviously, NFL week 12 rather than week 2. That'd be a mind trip. We'll recap that. And then, obviously, the NCAA week 13 and then Championship Saturday coming up. Some pivotal games going on. Already a little bit of chaos already ensue from last
About
week.
time.
Like I said, the MLB hot stove is just heating up, so we'll discuss some moves, some latest rumors, what to maybe expect at the winter meetings coming up next week. And then the ACC Big Ten Challenge happening right now in college basketball, the main conference for not only me and you, Nick, but for most of our viewers and listeners, given that they're probably Syracuse fans, UNC fans, maybe the unfortunate Duke fan.
Or the other side of it, Michigan State.
Yeah, we'll discuss, obviously, the Big Ten and the ACC Challenge, and obviously what implications that can make. Some powerhouse programs going up against each other that have some, aspirations for March and the beginning of April. So with that in mind, jump into the first topic, and that would be Phil winning the, what was it called, the match or whatever.
Match.
So they could have done a little bit better, in my opinion, with the title name on that one. Either way, Phil won on the 22nd hole in the sudden death battle between him and Tiger.
Under the lights.
Under the lights. It did end up under the lights. Gotta be a unique experience, I gotta say that. Bad enough I can't see the ball half the time in daylight when I golf. I don't know what the hell I'd do in the night.
I gotta say, it was very, very interesting to watch that. I know you didn't get a chance to watch it.
I did not.
But I watched it. I'm a big golf guy. And I was impressed. I was not disappointed. I was very excited. Very excited when Tiger chipped in that tying shot on the 17th. I was very excited when Tiger picked up Phil's marker on the 18th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited to see this 97-hole par 3 that they just created from the tee box on the putting green to the 18th hole green. I was very excited to see him play it 3 times in a row under the lights. I was very excited to see Phil give it back to Tiger, telling him to pick up his marker. And then I was very excited to see Phil win this event because Phil wanted this a lot more than Tiger did.
Mm-hmm.
Phil has always been overshadowed by Tiger his entire career, and this doesn't prove that Phil's better than Tiger. He is not better than Tiger. It does prove something for the game of golf. It was very intriguing. It ended up being free. Did you know that? Bleacher Report at the very last minute gave it out for free. I don't know if it was technical difficulties or unaware of how many viewers they were going to get.
You telling me people got conned into buying that, really? Is that what you were telling me?
So they gave it out for free, and I don't know. Do you, Paul, think we will see something like this every year?
Every year, no, but I think you'll see more stuff kind of like it. I think it got brought up, obviously, if like you're Rory or Spieth, you wouldn't be really too thrilled about that. I think you even brought it up last week on the podcast, actually. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think you'll see it every year, but I think you'll see it plenty more times here coming up.
Mm-hmm. I do have some breaking news.
Ooh. I wish we had a graphic for that.
Yes, breaking news. It's not the game, but Louisville just beat number 9 Michigan State.
Wah, 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 wah.
And the ACC just took a 3-2 lead over the Big Ten.
Nice.
That's a huge win for Chris Mack's team. Anyway, back to Tiger. Tiger played well. Honestly, they didn't really play that well because they did miss a lot of putts.
Yeah.
The scores never got over 1 up. It was 1 up or less the entire time. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. I would like to see it again next year. Maybe, like you were just saying, maybe a Spieth Thomas, maybe Koepka Johnson, Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
Because those guys are buddies. I would like to see Rory Rose be exciting. I would also like to see the winner stay on. I think that would be interesting if Phil went on next year and played someone new. If they kept doing that, I'd be all for it. I thought it was pretty cool. Don't know if you could top it. I mean, those were 2 legendary golfers. You know what would really make it interesting? A lot of people have been bringing this up. If they actually gambled their own $9 million of their winnings, that would have been something.
I kind of figured it wouldn't be theirs anyway. I mean, Capital One was the main sponsor of it. I mean, most of the times what these things end up coming, like, it's not really anything on the line of the people doing it. It's the sponsors ponying
Wasn't
up.
it Stu Gotts, your boy,
Stu,
who said they should have wagered?
Gotts Army, baby.
They should have wagered green jackets. And you know what green jackets? Those are like Super Bowl rings to golfers.
How would you really do that though? Because I mean, the record books are still remain the same.
Yeah,
right?
but it's like wagering a Super Bowl ring. Though.
I guess
it means a lot to a golfer, that green jacket.
That's true.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tiger got sick the night after, right after losing.
Really?
Yeah. He probably threw up and everything.
I bet there was no doubt in my mind that Phil went out gambling after that with that $9 million.
Oh, 100%. He was in Vegas. You already know what he was doing.
Especially after he won.
Yeah.
And he won some side bets. Tiger did win the main side bet.
Yeah, Tiger did win the main one, the $200,000 one.
If Phil was going to birdie the first, he did not.
He should have. That was a gimme putt for him, and he missed it.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch the first hole. But
I saw that.
I didn't, so there's something. I'd like to see it again. I'd like to see my boy Koepka versus Dustin next year. That's my prediction.
So I think for me, I'd like to see Dustin versus Spieth. Only because those two just drive the ball. I think it'd be fun for the fans more because they would drive the ball. They have effectively the same I don't know, frat boy kind of mentality. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like it'd be fun for the fans. I don't know about the personality wise, but their trash talk would probably be legit trash talk. Not the way Phil and Tiger are kind of buddy trash talking. Theirs I feel would be legit.
Yes. Or Ricky would be cool.
Ricky would be good. I don't know who he would be good though going up against.
Maybe his buddy Bubba.
But that would. But you gotta remember, there has to be some sort of rivalry. Obviously Phil and Tiger's a rivalry, but they get along pretty good.
Someone sent Patrick Reed out there. Everyone hates him.
Nah, Patrick Reed versus Sergio. Nobody.
Sergio Tiger would have been something.
Nobody will watch a Patrick Reed Sergio one. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we'll shift away for a quick second. We'll head to the gridiron for NFL Week 12 talk. Very interesting week, I'd call it, around the Shield. Certainly of interest of note. Locally, the Bills got a very nice win against the Jacksonville
Those are some good
Jaguars.
teams you put on the headlines right there.
Well, look, I mean, they were kind of like the main storylines of the week, really.
Not disagreeing.
You had the brawl in Buffalo. Well, it wasn't really a brawl. It was more or less two people really going at it.
Turned into a skirmish.
Yeah. Then obviously, the Browns decimated Cincinnati in the revenge tour. I hate how people, by the way, but I hate how these people are going after Baker. Who cares? Clearly there was some disdain between him and Hugh in the locker room. Why do you care that if he was going in for a hug or whatever, and all Baker wants to do is shake hands? What does that impair on you? If you come up to a person that you don't like and they try coming up to you, giving a hug, I know for a fact you ain't giving them a hug. That's not what I would do. I'm sure that's not what you would do, Nick. I'm sure that's not what any one of the listeners and viewers would do.
Yeah, it's just weird if you so if it is that person that you don't like gives you a hug, more likely that guy's not going to give you a hug. But in this case, I don't think maybe Hugh didn't know that Baker doesn't like him. I don't know. I didn't. Now did you see the one Browns player pick it off and give the ball to Hugh?
Yep.
What was that? I thought it was just him being nice.
I thought it was more of a dig at him too. I really did.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought, Hugh gave him that pat on the helmet.
Think about it. Think about it for a second. If he was on the other side of the field, he wouldn't have ran over and given it to him. It would have just been a regular celebration. That's the way I view it. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't see it as an outright good gesture. I feel like a lot of that stuff in that game was in spite of what Hugh Jackson kind of left in that locker room.
Do you see? I always thought it was more the owner wanting Hugh out.
No, there was some disdain in the locker room between players and him. And to a degree, Todd Haley as well.
Yeah, where's Todd Haley now?
Free agent.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it that way. I thought they liked Hugh. I just thought Hugh was a terrible coach. With his 4 wins in 8 years.
3 wins.
And 2.5 years. Pretty bad, but I didn't know this. Do you know a little bit more?
About what?
About what was going on in the Browns locker room.
Well, no, I think it's a relatively reported deal that the way Hugh wanted things run, he effectively wanted to be head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator to a degree. I mean, obviously, especially on the offensive side of the ball, him and Todd Haley definitely didn't see eye to eye, and you had that just discrepancy, and you could tell the way they play. Look at the offense since both of them have been hired. It's been more high-flying. It's been more productive. It's been more efficient. You got Carlos Hyde out of there. Maybe he was part of the problem. You look at the running game now, Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson are very good two-headed monster they got going on. So you kind of wonder, okay, where was the problem? And I feel like Hugh and Todd Haley clashing, and Hugh wanted, I feel like, Tyrod Taylor to start more than what he ended up doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrod conceded the starting seat to Baker, and look at what Baker's been able to do.
Baker had that comeback win.
So, yeah, I mean, I there's not a doubt in my mind. I feel like there's not a doubt overall in the people's minds that the challenge in that locker room was definitely Hugh Jackson. I don't doubt. I think he was a very good, and people kind of forget this, and we'll get slightly off track with me saying this. People forget how good of an offensive mind Hugh was at one point. This was a guy who was regarded as the next big thing for a while before he got his initial head coaching job out in Oakland. And, all things considered, you look at the way that offense was run in Cincinnati there for a while when he was the offensive coordinator the first time around there. Carson, obviously, you have a guy like Carson Palmer, he's good. Chad Johnson, good. But they made that team a very potent offense. at least in the regular season. And obviously, the way as I call them, the Bungles are. And you can kind of tell now, writings on the wall really from Marv Lewis and whatever. And then you stick him out in Oakland, and he did extremely well right off the bat there. They ended up 8-8 in his first year. Second year was like 4-12, and they fire him. And I think that firing was a bit unjust, all things considered. Goes back to Cincinnati. Offense coordinator again gets a really good offense going again with Andy Dalton and AJ Green. Better running game probably overall when he was there the second time with Gio Bernard when he first came into the league. And things just didn't work out in Cleveland. I think it was more there. He wanted more control than what he had in Oakland. And I think that was one of the main things in Oakland that got him fired was he wanted this control. And he got it in Cleveland a little bit. And
didn't help. They didn't have a lot of talent either.
To a degree. You have to remember the Cleveland defense, and you can kind of tell this even this year mostly. The Cleveland defense has never been really actually that bad if you look at the efficiency numbers of it. They've always had, traditionally speaking, a really good front defensive line. Their linebackers tend to do really good. And their secondary wasn't that bad. Joe Hayden anchored that thing and did really well with it. They had Jabril Peppers come in. The defensive line kept getting better. Myles Garrett is a force to be reckoned with on that line. And then on the offense side of the ball, that's where I feel like you can make the case that the talent really maybe wasn't there. Especially, obviously, we know their quarterback problems throughout the years, and that's definitely true. But you had Baker Mayfield, and I agree not starting him right away, but the fact you wanted to go back to Tyrod Taylor after Baker did for a couple of weeks kind of speaks volumes as to what you want. So, I mean, that's where I kind of stand on that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I think be interesting to see how the Browns do. So what is Hugh Jackson right now?
He is a defensive specialist. That's his title. I don't think he's actually doing anything truly on the defensive end of the ball.
You said he was the offensive coordinator?
That's the way it was brought up.
Oh.
I think the way I understand it is it's effectively if he does a good enough job with his title that he has, he'll be the head coach next year in Cincinnati, the way it sounds.
Where's Marvin Lewis going?
Fired.
It should have happened last year.
It should have happened like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the same Bengals. Like that's the thing. Another thing too that I don't like about that. People are surprised. Like this is the same Bengals team they've had for the past.
Aren't they 4-0 too?
Yeah, this is the same Bengals team that they've had for the past 15 years. Like, how are you surprised that they're all of a sudden doing terrible again or not as good? Like, get real. This is the same team. They'll lose in the first. They get to the playoffs. They lose in the first round. You act surprised. When we all know Marv Lewis can't coach when it really actually matters. Andy Dalton's not a good quarterback. Like, they can't utilize A.J. Green the right way. They'll probably waste away Joe Mixon's career.
Andy Dalton's definitely better than Bortles, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that game was bad. Bortles not starting this week.
Who they just fired? Their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, offensive coordinator fired. Cody Kessler is starting this week under center. Hard to imagine a way that Blake Bortles is the quarterback there next year in any capacity. Doug Marrone, they're trying to get an extension with Doug. I don't think this is Doug's fault at all, really. I mean,
is Doug Marrone going to get fired from another job where he's done a great job?
I can't see Marrone getting fired. Technically, he's never been fired.
Oh yeah, that's right. He just left.
Yeah. If they were to fire him, I feel like that'd be a mistake on this part.
Yes. He turned around the Jacksonville Jaguars into an AFC runner-up.
I mean, it's a really tough. The thing with him this year, and injuries did play a part to a degree, but I think what happened is you had a lot of Chiefs and not like enough Indians type deal. You look at Jalen Ramsey, and he's a great talent. I love Jalen Ramsey, the player, and I love the fact he loves talking. Like I like the fact that you got personality, but a lot of people with personality know when to shut up every now and then, and he just doesn't seem to know when to shut up.
Didn't he call out Josh
Allen?
Yeah,
he called out Josh Allen. Call him trash. He called every Bills player on the sideline trash at one point. You want to know what happened? The Bills whooped him.
Josh Allen had a running touchdown. I think.
Josh Allen. Let me pull up the stats here really quick. Josh Allen, at least through the year, 160 and 1 touchdown. Rushing, Josh Allen was actually the leading rusher for the Buffalo Bills. 99 yards, with a 7.6 average on the carry with a touchdown.
Where was McCoy?
McCoy had 46 yards.
No touchdowns.
No touchdowns. So, I mean, it's pretty telling. This Bills team is weird. I still don't think they're that great.
Do you think Bills fans should stop talking about playoffs?
So I still think they really should. Look, if you're a Bills fan this year, and it's kind of it's a tricky spot to be in right now, where you're still technically, they're technically still in the hunt at 4-7.
Yeah.
Really, this team. If you're a Bills fan, I feel like you hope maybe not lose out, because you're kind of trapped in that spot in the draft where you're going to be probably in that 6 to 9 range, give or take. But you're not going to be able to move out of there, I don't think. I think that first pick, the way it looks right now, is going to probably in San Francisco, which is weird. It's just a really tough place to be. If you're a Bills fan, I think your ideal outcome for the year is probably a 6-10 record, so they can get a relatively decent high draft pick. I'm not saying outright tank. They've kind of done enough now where I feel like maybe I've never exactly doubted McDermott, but there are certainly questions that you have about him as a coach, like the whole entire Nathan Peterman deal. I think you got to keep him around for sure for next year, more or less, to see whether last year was actually a fluke or this year was actually a fluke.
Mm-hmm. You gotta find out.
Yeah, and then you get the vibe from there, and plus you get Josh Allen for a full year with experience. So you'll see, I guess, with that. If you're I'll ask you the same question. Like, what do you think they should really do? I guess.
Definitely keep McDermott.
You weren't anticipating that, were you?
No.
The tables have turned.
I like McDermott. I like the fire that he brings to the game. I don't know if Josh Allen's the answer. Definitely better than these other quarterbacks they've been throwing out there.
Yeah.
Definitely going to need to look for a new running back because McCoy's getting old. Maybe some receivers. They need a lot more help. Defensively, they're all right.
They got a top 5 defense this year, I think, fantasy-wise. So
yeah. That's the reason they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Mostly their defense. And Tyrod Taylor coming up clutch once in a great while. Yes?
I was going to say, I think the same thing, again, as it was kind of last year, is they need to bolster that offense a little bit in some way. I think it kind of starts, you need to upgrade that offensive line a bit, which is kind of surprising given the fact that how good that offensive line was relatively last year. Mm-hmm. So this is actually the draft where it's not like this draft coming up, it's not a superstar loaded draft. This is a guy like the meat and potatoes guy type draft. Guys in the trenches, those offensive linemen, defensive linemen. So
mm-hmm.
You want to move on to picks?
Let's do it.
Okay. By the way, Nick, our teams did not fare well this past week.
No.
I got to say, it was a rough week for us.
The Redskins, they could be in some trouble.
Look, in this day and age, how do you miss a helmet-to-helmet call like that? I just don't get it. I really don't. And, people are like, it wasn't targeting. It doesn't matter. It was still helmet-to-helmet. So.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the Cowboys and getting calls, they're home on Thursday night against the Saints in a primetime matchup.
Another Thursday night game for those two.
And home, too.
Or is it?
Dallas.
I'm
going to go with the Saints.
Saints are winning this
game.
This game's going to prove, because there's Cowboy fans saying, we're going to win the Super Bowl. They're not as good as the Saints and Rams, and they're going to prove it right now.
No.
Or on Thursday.
I can't believe people are saying, how, Dak's going to throw for, over 250s. He's going to go for over 100. Do you realize how good the Saints defense actually is?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize. It's really weird. The offense has the ball a lot, but they move it quickly. So
Saints are loaded.
Yeah,
they're going to win it.
The first game listed for Sunday at 1:00. The Bears visit the Meadowlands to take on the Giants.
Giants are winning this game.
I'm actually with the Giants on this one.
Daniel had a good game on Thanksgiving. I don't know if he can go back to back.
I don't even know is it going to be Daniel or is it going to be Trubisky? Like, nobody knows.
I don't think anyone knows, but it could be Daniel. Most likely Daniel.
Interesting game in Green Bay as the Packers host the Cardinals.
I'm picking the Packers in my last minute standing, so I'm picking the Packers here.
See, this is I think the Packers are going to win, but if you're a betting man, I'd take the Cardinals. I think they'll be able to keep it close. This Packers team is in big disarray right now.
Yeah, I'm high on it because they're at Lambeau.
Yeah. I agree with you. If you're picking outright, and that's what we do, it's Packers, I feel like 100%. So, the Colts go to the Jaguars for an AFC South matchup.
God, you got to think the Jaguars are going to win
They got to win a game. They got to win a game at some point. The Colts are banged up a little bit on offense. Jack Doyle is on the IR for the rest of the year. He's done with a kidney injury. And Marlon Mack, the upstart running back, is in concussion protocol.
You're just making me... It's at Jacksonville, right?
It is at Jacksonville.
I'm taking the Jaguars because they're due to win a football game. The Colts are due to lose a football game.
I'm with you on that one. That being said, I'm still going to take the Jaguars.
Really?
Yeah. This game, as my brother Pat, guest co-host on the podcast with us every now and then, this is a tough matchup for me because it's two teams I like picking. It's the Browns going to Houston to play the Texans.
Ooh, Pat would like this.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston. I think that defense is too good up front right now.
9 in a row.
They're another team too, man. They're bound to lose here. That I wouldn't be surprised if it is honestly this week
against the Browns.
The way that Cleveland team played, like it's not like the Bengals are.
I mean, the Browns just won their first football road game in like 20 games.
What a better time to get a second. But I'm going to take the Texans. Probably by a couple scores would be my bet at least. I probably will be wrong. It's been a rough year for me picking pro games.
You got this one.
Yeah. An NFC South matchup. The Panthers go to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. This is also another like really weird matchup because you don't know what Carolina team you're really going to get at this point.
No.
And effectively, you can say the same thing for the Buccaneers. You just don't know what Buccaneer team you're going to get at this point.
I'm going Carolina.
I'm going Carolina as well.
We're agreeing too much.
Well, this one might be a toss-up. This one might, this one actually might be the Y game of the week for you. The Bills go to Miami to play the Dolphins.
Picking the Dolphins.
See, I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Why?
There it is.
Why are you picking your?
Yeah,
you're falling for the Bills.
I am. I'm gonna bite the bullet on that one probably.
You think you're going down to Miami and winning this football game?
Man, the Dolphins are in another weird spot. It's hard to get a gauge if Gase is safe or not with his job.
They're just an average team.
Yeah, it's hard to get a gauge whether Tannehill's job is safe even.
But the Bills are a below average team.
Yeah, so but I'm going to go with the Bills, man. They're riding high, You never know.
Buffalo, they suck.
Yeah.
Heard it from me first.
Broncos go to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one. Riding high after that Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, I'm going Broncos.
All right.
Bengals. Trash.
Lost my spot here. There we go. Still in the 1 o'clock games. The Ravens go to Atlanta to play the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Ravens, actually. The Falcons are another team where you just don't know what you're going to get week in and week out.
I'm going to take Atlanta here at home.
Yeah. I feel like this might be the more toss-up game of the week.
This is a toss-up.
But Lamar Jackson's playing pretty good ball. So, you never know.
Taking the home team.
Yeah. The Rams go to Detroit to play the Lions.
Still 1 o'clock.
Still 1 o'clock. I'm going to go with the Rams.
My Lions Super Bowl pick. Yikes.
Not looking good on that one, kid.
The Rams will win this game.
Good pick.
Thanks.
We are finally in the 4 o'clock games. The Chiefs, they go to Oakland to take on the Gruden Raiders. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well.
Pretty handily. The Jets go to Tennessee, 4 o'clock game. Tennessee, I want to pick them so bad. I'm going to go with the Titans.
Tennessee's winning this game. I didn't even know the Jets were still playing football games.
The Vikings go to New England to play the Patriots.
Who plays them?
The Vikings.
Vikings.
I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I'm going with the Patriots here at home.
Why?
Tom Brady.
Why? Why?
No, it doesn't work for you. Tom Brady is why, Paul.
Tom Brady, system quarterback.
Minnesota, they're not as good as people think.
Speaking of not being as good as people think, the 49ers go to Seattle to play the Seahawks.
Are you talking about the Seahawks?
No, I'm talking about the 49ers. Because that's a team I buy into every week, it feels like, and get bit in the end. I'm going to go with the Seahawks on that one.
The Seahawks are winning this one at home, but when they go to San Francisco in a couple weeks, watch out. Upset alert.
But
this week is Seattle.
The Sunday night game, the Chargers pay a visit to the Tri-River area to play the Steelers. Interesting matchup.
Yeah,
this one's another toss-up.
When I was watching Sunday Night Football, they were like big LA games, and I thought Chargers were playing the Rams. Mm-hmm. But it's just the Chargers this week and then the Rams next week.
Yeah. Anyway,
the Steelers win this game.
The Steelers will win.
In Steel City.
For me, from a fantasy perspective, I need the Steelers to have a good game because that means Juju has a good game.
That doesn't mean that at all.
Juju has been my permaflex.
There's a chance.
Juju has been my permaflex all year.
Yes.
But man, that Chargers team's good. They're going to be minus Melvin Gordon.
But Melvin Gordon doesn't play defense.
Give me the Steelers.
Steelers.
And lastly, Monday Night Football. This is probably really the battle for the NFC East. This game, the Redskins go to the link to play the Eagles.
I think the Eagles win this game. I'm sorry.
Hail to the Redskins. We're going to win.
I like to see it. Not with Colt McCoy.
Oh, you with your big Colt McCoy.
You're Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I know.
So what kind of game does Juju have?
Huh?
What kind of game does Juju have on Sunday night?
Juju's got that good Juju going on Sunday night.
He'll probably have like a 90-yard touchdown.
I hope. I feel like he has one like every game now.
Like a 70-yard.
Yeah.
He always has that big touchdown.
Like that one week, he literally outscored his projection on one play. Like it was great.
Yes. Probably did last week too.
Technically speaking, yeah, he would have.
With that 90-yard.
Yeah. But he was already at like I think 4 or 5 points at that point. So.
He's not bad for a flex.
Speaking of flex, the NCAA, they sure like flexing on different things.
We did it.
But Week 13 happened this past week in college football.
Wow, I'm completely disappointed in you, Paul.
Why?
Couldn't even put up that Notre Dame has clinched the spot.
They haven't. I don't think they've really fully clinched.
Here we go.
I will get to it. I got a second bar. You know how we have like where the topics are with the NCAA. Like for this one, it says NCAA Week 13. Well, there's another one for Championship Sunday where that we'll put up here when we get done recapping this past week. And we'll discuss some Championship Saturday stuff. I think I inadvertently said Sunday, but...
when next week's show, the playoff will be out.
The playoff will be out. I believe that comes out Sunday?
Sunday, so it'll be out already.
Yeah. So, but we'll get to Championship Sunday in a second. Because that Ohio State upset over Michigan, which I said was going to happen on here. You said it was going to happen on here.
I did?
Yeah. We were both in agreement on that.
All right.
It happened. And it has now caused a little bit of potential chaos to happen this upcoming weekend, Nick. But I'll pose that to you when we get to that point. We'll talk about what happened on Saturday because Michigan was really never in that game. And Ohio State was full throttle. And, the horseshoe was bumping. Corso made the wrong pick. We'll discuss where game day is, obviously, in the championship Saturday portion of this. Cuse big win over Boston College, 9-3. We'll be going to
Good bounce back win.
Yeah, we'll be going to a nice bowl game for sure. At the very least, the way it sounds, obviously a little bit depends on Championship Sunday, but the way it sounds, the Camping World Bowl in Orlando is where we'll end up. We'll either face an at-large team, which more than likely is probably going to be a Big 12 team. But again, West Virginia, I believe, has been kicked around. I don't understand why Iowa State's been kicked around. I feel like they were lower. I could be wrong. But that also depends on what kind of happens on Championship Saturday as well. If it doesn't go to an at-large, I believe it goes to an SEC school. Like I said, that Mississippi State team is potentially one we could play in that.
No chance at Michigan? No chance at Michigan?
I'm going to guess probably not. Could be wrong, like I said, but I'm going to guess probably not, only because that at-large tends to go out west if it doesn't stay in the South for that bowl.
Yeah.
Notre Dame kind of squeaked one out at USC. I told you that was going to be a tough game. It's tough to go out west twice in a year.
I've said it multiple times, though. They had the schedule to do it, and they did it.
They did. Hey, all that matters is getting that win right now. Ian Book threw for 352. I feel like every time I bring up his stats for a game, he always has 2 touchdowns in a game, and that's what happened again. So, elsewhere around, UCF was able to beat USF, but obviously Mackenzie Milton is down for obviously the year. You hope his career's not in jeopardy. Unfortunately, other than there was obviously ligament and structure damage to his knee, there was also a nerve injury to his knee that will require additional surgery to that.
Got to talk about that 7 overtime game.
The 7 OT game, you say? Well, buckle up, kids, because you got to love that score.
Texas A&M beating LSU.
Yes. Nick, take the wheel. By the way, highest scoring game in the quote-unquote BCS/championship playoff era with a combined score.
I didn't get a chance to check the game, but
with a combined score of 146. So, pretty interesting.
That was the highest scoring ever.
Yeah. That's what I saw anyway. It might be wrong.
So LSU lost because they couldn't get the 2-point conversion?
That would be correct.
Then what is it? After 3 overtimes you have to start doing it?
I don't think it's after 3 over. I don't think you have to do it, do you?
I think that's a rule.
That's quite the interesting. You want to give us your take? I'm going to go look this up.
Call in and let us know.
Yes.
Do it.
Ow.
Or not. I'll be here. But I think LSU was basically done anyway. But that really officially eliminates LSU from the contention. I think you look at it.
You are right. After the 3rd overtime period, teams that score a touchdown must attempt a 2-point conversion.
I think there's 7 teams that can win the national title still. I think you look at the top 4 with Georgia now in there.
Yep.
Oklahoma, Ohio State, Central Florida. The only way Central Florida can get in if Ohio State loses, Oklahoma loses, and Georgia loses all this week. And I would hope Central Florida. Sorry to yell on the mic.
Ow.
What do you think? If all 3 of them lose, does Central Florida get a chance?
All right, so.
But Central Florida's got to win, obviously.
Okay. So I want to make sure I get this straight. You're essentially, talking about my chaos theory that I was talking about, right? Where effectively Georgia beats Alabama. You have Texas beat Oklahoma.
Well, Georgia would lose to Alabama. But yeah. You could.
Oh, okay. See, now I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Alabama
Yeah.
Alabama wins.
Do they get in? Probably not. They got to jump.
You don't think if Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Georgia all lose this weekend, did they not get in? I don't think they get in
Well,
either.
you just.
I would like to.
That's the thing. They're going to have to jump effectively 3 teams that were going to be in the playoff before them anyway. That puts them only at like 5. Because you have Clemson in that theory.
Is Central Florida 7?
Central Florida is 8.
Who's 7?
7 is
Texas?
7 Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
So they'd have to jump. Man, that's a tough thing for them. That'd be tough sledding.
I don't know.
But
Michigan.
so here's my chaos theory that I was going to provide to you, because I don't. This is where being that independent and losing that game is going to be a. Well, not losing the game. It's losing a game that the other teams have an opportunity to play. So Notre Dame, they're locked in at 11-0, I believe.
12-0.
12-0. So they're locked in at 12-0. They're done. They don't play this week. The next time they'll play will be playoff/bowl game, whatever, So what do you do? Georgia beats Alabama. Okay?
Clemson wins.
Clemson wins, obviously. Oklahoma wins. They beat Texas. That obviously boosts their, likelihood to get in. So you have Notre Dame, who didn't play last week, or what will be this week, not fresh in your mind. What do you do? Because you got to keep Georgia in there, and you got to keep probably Alabama in there as well. You got Clemson in there.
I think Oklahoma gets screwed.
I mean, I would think so, but I don't know how these people are nuts when it comes to the process here. Think about it. The process is crazy. Michigan, I don't think Michigan should have been in. I thought it should have been Oklahoma last week. Obviously, I could, probably am wrong in that regard. But the eye test is so. You gotta look at the eye test overall. I feel like that's where it gets lost a lot of times with this playoff now. Is you can't believe what you see, even though what you see is what you should be believing in. Instead, you're relying too much on the computer still to tell you, what the deal is with it.
I don't want to take this biased route.
Take the bias route. Do it.
But
look, Nick, hold on, Nick. I've been taking the bias/homer route all year with Syracuse. Do it, Nick. Do it for the views.
I don't care what happens this weekend.
Yes.
I don't care what happens this weekend.
Yes.
The playoff, you hate to say it, it's about ratings.
Yes.
And money.
Do it, Nick. Yes.
They're not kicking an undefeated Notre Dame team out.
Tell us, though, how you really feel.
They're just not. It's not happening. They want Notre Dame in. They got an undefeated Notre Dame.
Give us more Homer, though. You're not giving good Homer stuff, though.
Notre Dame's going to kick ass.
There it is.
They're going to win by 40, and then they're going to beat Alabama by 80.
Yeah, on a punt.
Yes.
Or whatever it was.
We could keep talking about Georgia beating Alabama all we want, but it's not happening.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. Georgia's not going to beat Alabama. Get that out of your mind, you idiot. Oklahoma's getting in. But it's about ratings and money, and Ohio State is going to absolutely destroy Northwestern.
Yes.
And they're going to get in.
I don't know, man.
They're jumping Oklahoma. You want to bet? I bet you Texas beats Oklahoma, too.
Well, you want to know what?
We have even easier for Ohio State. They just don't ever go away.
Let's do not what we do for NFL where we give some explanation. Let's do some rapid fire picks then.
All right.
For this upcoming week. We'll start Friday night, the Pac-12 championship, 8 o'clock. Utah is the away team against Washington. Just pick a team. I'm going Utah.
Washington.
I'm going Utes. The Big 12 championship, noon Saturday. Texas 14, the away team against Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's going to win this.
I'm going to go Texas. I'm going Longhorns. The American Championship, 3:30 on Saturday. Memphis, considered the home team, against UCF.
Central Florida doesn't lose games, so Central Florida.
I'm going Memphis.
Yeah, you hate them.
I am actually going Memphis. I think that Mackenzie Milton. See, now I said rapid fire. I'm giving an explanation, but that Mackenzie Milton injury is going to be big for them. I'm going to go Memphis.
Good enough.
Memphis, by the way, has an extremely good running back who will be playing on Sundays next year.
Too many notes.
Sorry. Alabama at Georgia, technically, for the SEC championship. That is where game day is, by the way, in Atlanta for that game. I'm going to go with Alabama.
Alabama.
The Mountain West Championship, Fresno State, considered the visitor against Boise State, Saturday, 7:45.
I do not know why that is funny. Boise State is winning this game.
I'm going to go with the upset, technically, Fresno State.
Ooh.
The Big Ten Championship, 8 o'clock on Saturday. Northwestern is considered the away team against Ohio State in Indianapolis.
Ohio State's going to destroy them.
Why? That's right, I got ya.
Okay.
Give me Pat Fitzgerald and the boys. I'm going
right.
Northwestern.
I'd love to see it.
And then the ACC Championship game, Pitt is considered the home team in this matchup over Clemson.
Why?
I believe that's just the way they do. I think they flip-flop every year how they... I could be wrong. Google usually lists like the college games weirdly, so for all I know, Clemson's probably the home team.
I think Pittsburgh is happy to be in this game. But this is rapid fire Clemson.
Clemson as well. So speaking of rapid fire, hopefully all you baseball fans out there, are staying warm with the hot stove because it's heating up. A lot of crazy rumors floating around right now. Does Robinson Cano come back to the Big Apple, whether it's in the Yankee pinstripes or the Mets pinstripes? We don't know. The Mariners appear to be relatively selling at this point. It's the vibe you get. Your Pirates, not a big splash, but Lonnie Chisenhall's a nice little splash for you, though, Nick. He is a good player.
Yawn.
Sorry, my bad again.
Yeah, he's all right.
Bryce Harper is still a free agent. Manny Machado is still a free agent. Obviously, you'll get probably the big stuff at the winter meetings happening next week. Bumgarner is available for trade. The Diamondbacks have made Goldschmidt and apparently now Greinke available for trade.
Wow.
Where will they potentially end up? There's a lot of awesome... this is a very, insane offseason we're in right now because... you're going to see a lot of player turnover, I feel like, on different teams next year. The Yankees apparently have discussed trading Giancarlo Stanton. You don't know what's going to happen.
I always feel like baseball is that sport where from one year to the next there's so many different players. You have to really focus on who's on which team.
Yeah.
And it gets nuts. Basketball is pretty close. A lot of changes happen in that.
But you never really get a big splash in basketball. If for fans of the sport, right? You're not as big a fans in the NBA anymore. But you have to think about it, right? Typically you don't get a splash a lot of times in the NBA.
No.
The MLB seems like you always get one splash, one big splash in the MLB offseason, it seems like every year.
Big names get traded in baseball a lot.
Yeah.
All the time. If Cano got traded to the Yankees, it's a big day, big news. But it's I've seen this.
But it could get overshadowed the same day by, say,
Bumgarner.
Yeah,
Goldsmith, that'd be huge. I don't know who's interested in him.
There's a lot of teams apparently in on the Goldsmith
deal. I think
deal.
everybody's interested in him. I don't know who's a real threat to get him. Hopefully not the Red Sox.
Apparently, too, the Mets, we kind of brought them up a little bit pitching. Syndergaard was apparently available for trade.
You like James Paxton?
I do like that deal, the Paxton deal. Overall, I like it. Part of me hurts, though.
They gave up their top prospect.
Very high on Justice Sheffield. So part of me hurts a little bit, admittedly, but that's what happens when you try and make moves.
Winter meetings next week?
Yes, they are the 6th or whatever they are.
One big splash you want to see at the winter meetings?
I feel like you'll probably get some relatively big splashes either way. because I'm sorry if we're doing this. I'm kind of looking at when the winter meetings are this year.
Usually like the first week in December.
Yeah. Of course, nothing is listed at the moment.
I'd like to see Goldschmidt get traded.
I think he'll end up going somewhere. I don't know, Nick. Oh, wow. Well, actually,
Goldschmidt, Bumgarner.
winter meetings are actually technically really 2 weeks away.
Really? When are they?
10th through the 14th.
Late this year.
Yeah.
Usually like the 3rd.
They're in Vegas this year. By the way, MLB made a big splash. They have officially partnered up with MGM to be their official gambling partner.
Really?
So it's only a matter of time, people. Hope you're ready.
Yeah. Betting on baseball.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Yankees haven't. It's really weird. The Yankees apparently were kind of in on Goldschmidt. I think a team to keep an eye on the Goldschmidt deal, honestly, is probably Milwaukee. They might sneak in there.
What about Aguilar?
Yeah. I've heard the Cardinals are kind of in on him, maybe not. Goldschmidt's at an interesting spot because he definitely isn't getting any younger, but he still's got a really great bat, a really great eye.
He also didn't have his best season last year.
He got off to a really bad start.
Really bad start. He bounced back a lot,
Yeah.
but a really terrible start.
So, yeah, the hot stove's kicking up. It's going to be fun here for us baseball fans.
Yes.
Like I said, the winter meeting, like we've said, the winter meetings are typically where you see the major stuff happen.
We're just giving you a little taste right now.
Yeah. So, I've seen a couple other proposed deals here, like Cano going to the Mets. Apparently, like there'd be a Jay Bruce swap and with it, and it's really weird and confusing. I don't know what to expect of it. Really,
Pirates made their move last year. Chris Archer going to have hernia surgery.
He'll be good to go for spring training, though.
Yeah, it's only about 6 weeks.
Hernias now at this point are not to downplay them because it is still a major deal and major surgery, but it's not certainly not a long recovery period anymore. I mean, 6 weeks does seem long, and it is for a pitcher especially, but he'll be good to go for spring and good to go for the start of the year.
Yep. Excited about that.
So with that in mind, I think that's a little bit of enough baseball for
now.
Day.
We'll be back.
We will be. Winter meetings are only a couple weeks away, so it's actually smack dab right in the middle of our podcast one day. So I'm sure
something might go on then.
Sure, we'll touch on it a little bit.
Well, let's talk about something that's right now.
Okay, I'll toss it to you for that then, Nick, because you are, in my opinion, maybe not the resident expert on it, but you certainly are the resident big fan of the college hoops.
Yes, huge college hoop fans. If you've seen me look down at the screen, I've just been looking at the scores the entire time. Some updates. It is 3-2 ACC over the Big Ten in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Iowa is up 3 points just under the 4-minute timeout. NC State is up a point. Iowa's beating Pittsburgh. NC State is up a point over Wisconsin, just under the 4-minute timeout to go. And Duke, just getting started in the second half, is up 55-30 over Indiana. I think these games have been pretty tight other than this Duke game, because Duke's just out of Indiana's class.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, bad class. I think we're ACC bias for the most part, and I think the ACC. This is going to be a good ACC Big Ten Challenge, which will conclude tomorrow night with some big games: North Carolina, Michigan, Syracuse, Iowa State beforehand. I think these two conferences could be the best two conferences in the league, and I did not think that going into it. Right now, the Big Ten has the most ranked teams with 7. I think the ACC is down to 5 now. They were about 7. I think Clemson and Syracuse have dropped outside the top 25 now. And I like to see this come down to the wire. I'd like to see the ACC actually kick their ass, to be honest with you.
Yee.
But end of the day, we know the ACC's got the better chance to win the championship than the Big Ten, which the Big Ten, I don't think, has won the championship since like 2000, 2001 when Michigan State did it. So it's been a while. The ACC is always overpowered, and especially when Notre Dame and Syracuse came in 6 years ago now. I can't believe that. Mm-hmm. They have just taken a leap over the Big Ten.
Pour one out for the Big East.
Yes, the poor Big East. But, Paul, what conference do you think is better?
ACC. I feel like they got more at stake early on this year. Obviously, I put up, as the something, the early battles here for the big programs. Obviously, UNC and Michigan kind of headline that. But at the same token, Purdue at Florida State, those are two teams that are looking to try and take that next step, especially, in my opinion, Purdue. You look at it, it's obviously Syracuse at Ohio State. Both teams, Syracuse looking to kind of right the ship. Ohio State maybe trying to send some shockwaves. Been a couple years early since they've, been a contender in March that you've really had to worry about. To a degree, NC State and Wisconsin, same deal. Maybe not obviously championship level, but certainly these are big games for them to try and take that next step for the year. Then looking at it, you look at Monday, you brought it up, Nebraska beat Clemson. Those are two programs that definitely have March aspirations in their plan for the year. So, really, this might be the best, you look at these cross conference, deals that they have now. SEC plays the Big 12. Mm-hmm. Pac-12 plays, I think, the Mountain West or something like that. And I don't think they have an official thing for that, but they end up matching up.
Even the Big East had something with the Big 10 earlier this season.
So, this is definitely the big one. Another matchup I look at quick here. Pitt at Iowa. Pitt, they're starting off stronger than I think a lot of people thought.
Jeff Cable now the coach.
Iowa tends to always kind of be a thorn in the side in the Big Ten, whether they're actually good or not. So
Wisconsin's not bad, but Ethan Happ's still there.
What's he on his 14th year there? Good Lord,
still playing. Duke's definitely a threat.
Yeah,
but I think it should be fun. Go out and watch Syracuse tomorrow. Think they could beat Ohio State?
Definitely.
Think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
North Carolina, Michigan, going to be a good game as well. And if you really care, Georgia Tech, Northwestern takes tomorrow too.
The Amish offense for football, baby. So with that in mind, and that kind of really concludes our coverage here on the Fresh Takes podcast for today. Quick thing, though, I would like to pass on to everyone is, again, it's we have the call-in number. I recommend that you call in, give us your takes. 866-315-3591.
It's real easy.
Yep. Again, 866-315-3591. That last part is FLX1 if you want to look at it that way. And extension 804. Keep an eye on either of our Twitter accounts at Paul Russo 32 for me. Nick, for you, it's at NickyFresh21. We'll tweet out, whether, really keep, right now, the main thing is obviously football. If you got a question or take about that, just call in, give us it. We'll probably get it on air. And then other than that, I'll put in at least one other topic that we plan on talking about for the podcast that week if you got something you want to go out there. So again, 866-315-3591, extension 804. Give us your questions. Give us your takes. We want them. We need them. We crave them. With that in mind, Nick, toss it over to you for your shout-out of the week.
I'm going to shout out the guy that makes this whole show possible, Jim Senecropi. Right. He did a good job on the call tonight the Minders-Clyde game.
Yes. Big win for the Blue Devils. Yes. By the way, they got
puts the big bucks in our pockets.
I don't know what you're talking about on that one. By the way, if you're looking for something to break up your football action on Saturday, they got a big triple header going on over at, I believe, Waterloo. First game is at 4:15. some coverage starts. I know Jim is on the call for that as well. Make sure you turn in more great coverage of local high school sports going on this weekend. Nick, anything else quick before we get out of here?
I think it's almost Hanukkah.
Yeah, we're getting to all those holidays.
Yeah. Happy Kwanzaa.
All right. Good job, Nick. With that in mind, we encourage you to like, rate, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Download the app, call in, and we will catch you next time on the Fresh Takes podcast here on Finger Lakes 1.